Chapter 15, Section 7, Simple Interest, Part 2. How do I calculate the interest and the new balance? I'm excited. That sounds really fun. You put $500 in a savings account. Right away, you should be like, is that I? Is that P? Is that R? Is that T? It's P. It's the principal. It's how much is being invested. The account earns 3% simple interest. Oh, simple interest, you're my best friend. Anytime it says simple interest, guess what formula we can use? I equals PRT. And it earns that every 6 months, which must be the time. Okay, we have two questions. A, what is the interest earned after 3 years? And B, what is the balance after 3 years? Well, if we have two different questions to answer, why don't we just split this in two? Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, here's part A, and let's see what we got. It's simple interest, so it's I equals PRT. And as we went through reading it, I was kind of identifying what each number was. So $500, that's definitely our principal. So I substitute that in. The rate is 3%, but we must write that as a decimal, 0.03. You won't divide by 100. I barely have enough space here. It's earning this every 6 months. So 6 months, we have to convert that into years, right? Well, how much of a year is 6 months? Well, 6 over 12, right? Isn't it 6 months out of 12 months is a year? So that's 1/2. So 6 months is 1/2 of a year. So I'm gonna multiply that by 1/2. Technically, I should have parentheses here, but I think you can handle if I don't. Okay, if I multiply that out, I get out my trusty calculator on my phone. 500 times 0.03 times 0.5, I get $7.50. But that's interest that's earned after how long? That's the amount of interest that's earned after 6 months. Dun, dun, dun. What we want is how much interest is earned after 1 whole year. Dun, dun, dun. So what do? I take the interest that's $7.50 and I multiply it by, well, how many half a years are there in 3 years? Or half a years in 3 years. There's 6. So if I want the interest after 3 years, whoa. Oh my gosh, this won't work. See how hard this is? See how hard my job is? That's the best I could do. Okay, years. You have to multiply that by 6. So that's $7.50 times 6. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I do $7.50, 7.5 times 3 or 6, $45. All right. Cool. Now for B, for the balance, what's the balance after 3 years? Well, balance is equal, I think it's capital B, is equal to the original amount that was invested, principal, plus the interest. So now all we have to do is substitute in for the principal, the $500 that were originally invested, plus the $45 that was earned in interest, and we get a balance of $545. That is beautiful. If you use I equals PRT, you're finding simple interest. It's simple. Remember, the rate must be written as a, is it a percent or a decimal in the equation? You have to write it as a decimal. And time must be written as years. To write a number of months in years, just divide the months by 12. If you add the principal and the interest together, you get the balance. All right, that's the end of part 2 for 15.7. I will be right back for part 3.